What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And today is Monday, March the 1st, 2032, the beginning of spring training. Baseball is finally back, and we are ready to hit the ground running with what we will call the youth movement season. And I hope that it is as good as last year, if not better. We made it to the American League Championship Series last year and did lose out. But I think we have just as good of a team this year, if not better. I would say it's better, well-rounded, and we have better pitching and a better offense. I just think it's a better team in general, and we're making strides to be a perennial contender. Last episode, I talked about a couple of contracts that I have offered that I would talk about in this episode, and I will do so here in due time. First thing I want to cover, though, in this episode is our fan interest and how many tickets we're selling season-wise, the season tickets. And then I will also get into this episode, kind of a rundown real quick, down and dirty of the prospects that we have in the system before the season starts, and kind of like our timetable on where we think or when we think they will make their way into the major leagues, hopefully. And then we will also complete spring training, and then we will start the major league season in the next episode. So I don't want to drag this on too long. I do kind of want to make this a shorter episode and kind of cover everything we can in a shorter time span, but also giving you guys all the details. I know there wasn't a whole lot that went on in the off season. I will tell you guys that there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. As you can see down here at the bottom of the screen, I have just made a ton of minor league contract offers, all to solid players, to hopefully fill our farm system back up with all the players that retired and moved on and things like that, and then also to add depth to the organization in case of injuries and things like that. I do this every year. I'll go in at the end of the year, and I don't know if you guys do it, but usually right around spring training, if you go to the free agents up here and you sort it by demand. So you click this, so like it starts you off like right here where it says, hey, they want the most amount of money at $9 million. That's the most that's left. If you hit that button again, it sorts you to the least amount of money, and all these people that have zero demand, you can offer them minor league contracts, and that puts them in your system. They usually accept. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll go for like an independent league or something like that. But more cases than not, they'll accept, and we can add depth that way. I tend to do that quite a bit. That is essentially how I fill my rosters there towards the end of the off season into beginning of spring training. I tend to load up that way. I've done that quite a bit, and hopefully those contracts go through, and then we can fill our holes in the minor leagues. Moving on to the fan interaction or the fan base real quick. Our market size remains below average. Our fan loyalty has increased to average, and our fan interest has increased to 59. I think it was actually 60 at the end of the season last year when we were the American League Championship, but we got rid of a player or didn't re-sign a player. I don't remember who it was, but basically we lost 1 point on that. But that's okay. It's up from like 30-something, I want to say, at the beginning of the year last year, maybe 40. But the biggest point here is our season tickets. So last year we sold 9,847 season tickets. This year we sold 12,100. So we're up 22% right there off the rip. So that's a huge increase in season ticket holders. Last year we had 30,000 people average attendance per game. This year we're projected to get 34, and then we're projected to make $1 million per game in revenue this year. So huge increase in potential revenue at the ticket boxes. Obviously, that is also going to vary depending on our performance, but I think we're going to perform pretty well. I hope so, at least, unless we have a ton of injuries, then we obviously will have to struggle there. But I think overall we'll be all right. So hopefully these numbers are low estimates and we perform better than that, and we get a bigger budget next year. It's projected to be 178. I hope it's 178 million. We got 150 million this year. Last year we had 158 million. Even 158 million next year I would be happy with. But something that's increased, because we're making this dude money, and that's his priority is profit, and he made a ton of money last year profit wise. I mean, we brought in 117 million and we only cost him 57 million. So he made a ton of money last year. So hopefully that, wow, that was this year. That's this year so far. Last year it was 205 million, and then it cost him 159 million. So he made roughly 40 something million dollars in profit. This year he's obviously well over that right now. So hopefully that turns his donations into our favor, because we're going to need them, because we're making some contract moves. And I'm banking on the fact that the profit we're giving this guy is going to increase our budget. So now let's get into the contracts that I offered. So I mentioned I offered 2 contracts. One was to the obvious number 1 overall major league prospect, Danny Fouts. Absolute stud of a hitter and base runner, and plays a very solid first base. I wish he played more positions. If he did, we probably wouldn't be able to offer him a contract because it'd be just ridiculous. Danny Fouts has absolutely dominated every single level of the minor leagues, and I expect absolutely nothing less from him this year. He doesn't hit a ton of home runs. That's fine. He's got plenty of gap power with gap speed, so he's going to take advantage of those those triples and doubles. He's got a good eye, doesn't strike out a ton, and has good contact and BABIP. And all of these are good to above average right now, and he is well below his potential. So we think the sky is the limit on this guy. He was our number 1 overall pick, or our number 1 pick, which is 4th overall in 2027. So we did offer him a contract. I offered him 10 years, 129 million. So just like every other contract, it's 10 years, but I added the 2 option years on the end, so it could be 8 years if we so choose, or if this goes south. And then at 129 million, I think the most he was going to make was 14 or 15 million a year, maybe 16. I could be wrong there. But it was very manageable for the potential that this guy could give us as a leadoff hitter, or just a hitter in general. But we are going to use him as a leadoff guy. We absolutely love this guy, and the only knock I have on him is the fact that he just plays first base. But at that point, I'm just nitpicking. So 10 years, he's 23 right now. So we think, we'll give him a contract till he's 33, and then we can get out of it when he's 31, well before he should start declining because of age. So hopefully he accepts it. It is still pending. He has not yet responded. The other contract we did offer was our top pitching prospect, and is actually our first overall pick in 2029 is Josh Leeson. He's the number 9 prospect in all of Major League Baseball, but as you can see, has really developed nicely. The only thing lacking is that sinker. Hopefully that thing gets up here and develops. The biggest one that usually is the issue is the changeup, and it developed fully, we think. Still has an extra little giddy up on his fastball maybe, and he has great control, great, just everything. He's going to have above average stuff, hopefully. Just a really solid pitching prospect, definitely going to be the top end of our rotation, and has also pitched well in every single stage of the way. He is also 23. We'll call him 24 because he'll be 24 by the end of the month, or right around the beginning of April 6th to be exact. So Josh Leeson, nickname Rhino, we offered him an 8-year, $100 million contract, and he responded and said he favors our offer. So we do like that. 8 years, but could turn into 6 years, give or take. But at $100 million, you're looking at, less than $15 million a year, 12 to 13 million ish, and we really couldn't complain about that. The key is just getting in on these guys early, and before if we think that their upside is massive, like Leeson and Fouts, then you gotta get on them early. We understand their floor. Their floor right now is like, they're not bad. So why not just get in on them early before they've ever even pitched a major league pitch or played in the major league game? Just make it happen, rip the Band-Aid. But if we can lock him up, or those two up, that will put us with Mason locked up till 2039 potentially. Vicente locked up to 2041. And then also we have Jeff Middleton, the reliever, locked up until 2041 as well. But adding Leeson would be another pitcher locked up until 2041, and then Fouts would be a hitter locked up until 2041 or 2042, I guess. That would be 5 guys that are locked up for at least the next 6 or 7 years, and then we can build around them as we go with a ton of prospects that are waiting in the wings to potentially backfill or complement these players. Because as you can see right here on this column right here, we have a lot of players that are in their last year of their contract. So we have some decisions to make whether or not we want to offer these players more years. I know for a few there will definitely not be any extensions in the works, but we got some guys coming up through the minors, and hopefully they can help us build around these core guys that we have locked up and hopefully will lock up. But now let's quickly go through the player development lab. I'll give you an update on that, and then we'll go through the minor leagues system and just our prospects real quick and touch on them, and then we'll get spring training kicked off. All right, the player development lab seems to be going okay. We have 8 players in the lab. If you guys are new to the channel, it comes with a default of 6 players. I bumped it up to 8. I don't know, it was just my decision, no real reason behind it. Just wanted a couple extra guys in there. I felt that 6 was just not enough. But anyways, first and foremost, we'll go through the ones that are struggling. Jeff Middleton, strength and conditioning program. He is fragile, so we put him through that. He is frustrated currently. Danny Fouts, we put him through a quality of contact, and it says he's struggling right now. So, whether he gets that or not is what it is. Hopefully, it doesn't regress him. Yeah, worst case scenario, hopefully we just get like a no improvement and we can move on. Alfredo Gazar is, we put him through the gap power. He's also frustrated. He's one of our top prospects. Arturo Avalos, we tried to put him through the improved control program. He's currently frustrated. One of the top pitching prospects we have, trying to get that control up. He's really struggled at almost 6 walks per 9, so we're just trying to improve that control up to its potential, but it just seems to not be working. He is struggling or frustrated in this program. And then Alvaro Vega, our top hitting prospect, if you will, like power wise. He's got a great power contact combination, plays an okay outfield. We put him through the quality of contact, and he is also frustrated. But moving on to the players that are on track, and we have 3 players, and they're really 3 important players. Not that the other ones aren't, but these more so this year. Juan Cardenas, as you guys know, he's fragile, but has had just a phenomenal career with us thus far in the 2.5 seasons that he's played. Playing really well for us and kind of filled in that DH role all year last year and led the league in plate appearances and at bats and also hits. He also hit 29 home runs and hit 293 with a 337 on base percentage. But he's fragile and he plays a very good defense, and we would like to play him in the field, but we're just trying to take advantage of his bat while we can and not introduce him to more situations that could potentially injure him. So doing a little strength and conditioning to hopefully improve his injury proneness. He is on track currently. Josh Leeson, who we just talked about, we added a contract offer. We're just trying to improve his secondary pitches and then hopefully that stuff as well. He is also on track. And then Artem Alvarado, we're also trying to improve his secondary pitches. He's kind of maxed out his control. That's why we didn't go for that. He has a lot left right here in the changeup and then really all of his pitches and that stuff. So we thought we could take advantage of those easier than adding the control and trying to get a outstanding result and improve that. These are a little bit easier to improve because they still have what we think improvements left on them. So just trying to get that change up, and then he will no doubt be a force for us in the rotation, considering our assuming he doesn't walk everybody. But he hasn't been terrible last year in AAA. He averaged 3 walks per 9, which isn't great, but he also had 11 strikeouts per 9. And he had a 4.62 ERA, but a Sierra was a 2.83. So he's shown that he can pitch at a level that isn't terrible control-wise. So hopefully that continues. But he's also on track. So 3 guys are on track. Hopefully Danny Fouts can turn it around. He has. Well, no, it looks like I just realized that they got 1 day left. So I guess we're about to find out what the result is. Hopefully Danny Fouts does not degress, considering we just offered him like $130 million. I guess I should have waited until the next day to update you guys, but I'm just silly me and didn't even realize that until I've completed the entire walkthrough. But nonetheless, let's run through the prospects real quick. All right, currently we have the number 1 overall farm system in the major leagues. That will change, however, once these prospects that we have promoted this year gain the required amount of service time to no longer be considered prospects. So a couple of those are very high-end prospects. 2 to be more specific, Danny Fouts and Josh Leeson. They will make the major league team. That's already been decided. So now it's just a matter of time before they drop off that list. I believe it's like, I want to say it's like 30 to 50 games, somewhere around in there, they drop off the prospect list. Maybe longer, I don't know. So we won't even talk about them. They're obviously going to get promoted. They're number 1 and number 9 overall in the major leagues. Next is Alfredo Gazar, who we have currently on the Major League roster, but he's in spring training with us. We just brought him to camp. Fully intend on starting him in AAA this year. Spent 2 years in AA, struggled the first year, did much better last year, and really just kind of performed to what we thought his potential would be in AA. He's a switch hitter, so we love that. Great speed, great stealing aggressiveness, not great stealing ability, so he's not going to light up the stolen base category, but he's got good speed to take advantage of his potential gap power. Obviously can play multiple positions. We're also going to work in left field and center field, so he is also going to develop into a super utility guy for us. And as you can see, he has a very similar profile to Danny Fouts, but can play more positions. So in a way, we might like Gazar better than Fouts long term because of his versatility in the field. Now, I still like Fouts better right now, but I like versatile guys in the field because that gives you a lot of options, and you can it gives you leeway in free agency to just find a player that you think is just the best player, and you don't have to find the best player at one position because you have a guy like Gazar or someone similar to him that can play every position, and you can just move them around from year to year wherever you have a hole. So, but yes, we will put him at AAA this year. We think one more year in the minors will do him wonders, and then in 2033 he will be a part of the big club. Alvaro Vega, just signed him a couple years ago, 2 international free agency years ago. He's in A-ball. We put him in A-ball last year after the rookie ball season ended. He dominated rookie ball, but he struggled in A-ball, but he only had 62 at-bats, so he's still developing. And we think that he's several years, obviously, away from making it to the big club. Isaac Cardenas is with the club for spring training. More than likely will not make it to the Major League club this year, at least out of spring. He's almost fully developed in that bat, but as you can see, he's going to be a pretty average bat guy. But the right-hand side is why we like him so much. Great leadership, and obviously just an elite defender. Another guy, as you can see, that we have trained to multiple positions. He plays first, second, third, short, and left field currently. We will also train him in center and right field. So at 23 years old, he'll get his first taste of AAA. He's done well everywhere else. We drafted him right out of college. He was our number 13 pick in the 2030 draft, so our first round pick there. But played his first year in high A-ball and then went to AA last year, dominated both of those. So now it's time for AAA, and hopefully we can finish off this development and get him to the big leagues in 2033. Arturo Avalos, still a couple of years away. Drafted him or signed him international free agency 3 or 4 years ago. Now he's 21 years old. Got him in low A, extreme ground ball guy, but slowly progressing. Would love to get that control up like we talked about in the development lab, but he is durable, so a couple years away, but we like his profile, and he has continued to maintain that profile with our scouting reports, so hopefully that is a good sign. Mike Flores is another year away, at least, maybe 2. I'm thinking just a year. He's almost fully developed. We do have him in high A right now. I'm probably going to move him to AA. He has struggled a little bit average-wise, as you can see. More than likely, we figured he would. But we love that power and that eye, so he's going to get on base a lot. So if he can just develop that contact and that BABIP, let him strike out a little bit, but other than that, he might be a useful guy for us, or maybe a solid trade piece. I haven't completely ruled that out. He was our first round pick in 2028. He is fragile and just really hasn't performed in any of the league levels until last year. He performed in high A or low A ball, and we moved him to high A where he struggled, but in a limited amount of time. So hopefully starts the year in high A this year and then moves to double A, and then maybe triple A if he's doing really well, or maybe we start him in triple A next year. So a year, probably 2 away from him if he makes it. Steve Geiger, gonna start the year in triple A more than likely. Another guy that we brought to camp. Don't really have a place for him. Doesn't play great defense. Probably our third baseman next year after we lose Nito, but he's only 22, so slowly developing, but he's developing nicely, and he's a third-round pick, so we do like that. Has performed well in the minor leagues, but just needs a little bit more time, so we're going to put him in AAA this year, and hopefully 2033 is his year. Matt Simbrat, same thing, high A, performed well in low A last year, 3.33 ERA and 18 starts. Love all of his personality traits, and his profile is solid. So for a fourth-round pick, we love this. He's developing nicely, and we still think 2 years away probably for him. So hopefully in 2034-ish, we have him in the major leagues, but really liking his development. Next is Medina. Just picked him up last year in the international free agency. He's still in the international complex, so still quite a ways away. Next is Daniel Raimondi, who we drafted this last year in the first round. Obviously, haven't seen him professionally yet, but hopefully he develops quickly. He's kind of already developed in some areas, so hopefully that speeds up his process, and he's in the big leagues within 4 years. All right, next is Luis Castillo. We signed him international free agency in 2029. Still in the international complex. I did promote him to the rookie league this year, so hopefully we get a taste of what he is like. Same with Esteban Ramirez, promoted to the he's in the rookie league. We drafted him in 2031 this past year in the second round, so we'll get a first look at him professionally. And other notables here, Artem Alvarado, who is going to be on our major league team more than likely this year. Their 7th round pick has turned out pretty good, I would say, for a 7th rounder. The control is a little bit down, but at the same time, he's pitched well everywhere he's gone. So why not? We'll see what he does, but we do like his profile. More than likely will make the team for us this year and be in the rotation. Ethan Wheeler, who we thought would make it last year, but if memory serves me correct, he got shut down for about 7 months with shoulder inflammation, and now has that fragile tag. So he only pitched in 4 games last year, so there's a good chance that he might go back down. I don't really like that control, and I would like to see that changeup develop a little bit more, especially if he's going to be a starter, which is what he wants to. Oh, no, he wants to be in the bullpen. So I might could do the bullpen with him. We'll have to see how he does in spring training, but ideally last year would have been the year that he completely developed, but he missed out on pretty much the whole season. So unfortunate, but might set him back a year. Next is Javorsky Lane, a junior, a 5th-round pick that has worked out nicely for us. Also going to be a super utility guy. We are slowly training him up. Looks like we have third base left, and then we will round it out. We could do first base too. He's a 6-foot guy, but has done well in the minor leagues for us, and is going to be an average bat, but obviously you see the speed and the stealing ability and the defense. Those kinds of things are going to play on this team, and I'm not going to turn him away. At worst, he's a great trade value, I would say, especially for a 5th-round pick. So we don't have much money invested in him at all. So we will start him in AAA this year, just because he hasn't played there and he's not quite there yet. If that can develop this year, then we're looking at 2033 for him to be in the big club. And then one last notable is Walkie Boer. An interesting name and a very interesting profile for a 5th-rounder. So has done well in the rookie leagues and then also in low A last year. We went ahead and put him in Double A to start the year. You could argue he could be in Triple A, but with the stuff and then the 2 pitches that are just not quite developed yet, that changeup and that fastball, we would like that to be a little bit better, and then we'll put him in Triple A. But still only 21 years old, so we still have some time with him. Not going to rush a 5th-round prospect. He's lefty for us too, so we think at least 2 more years for him unless he just rapidly develops this year. But I could see it happening next year, him being in the major leagues, but I do want to give him his time in the minor league system to fully develop. And with that is a look at the prospects. I won't go through the rest because they're still so far away. But I wanted to take you guys through the top 200 and then a couple of notables. And just to show you where we're at, a lot of good things happening with our organization. As you can see, we have them stacking up, a lot coming up this year. Another batch that are ready for next year, more than likely, and then another batch that are 2 to 3 years away. So we have some prospects that are starting to stack, and that's good. Now the issue becomes, now that we are playing well and having a good record, how do we maintain the level of prospects that we have? Because we've been drafting so high in the draft. And this year is going to be our first test, because we are drafting 33rd. So 3rd from last in the 1st round. So if it's a deep draft, we're in good shape. If it's not a deep draft, then we're going to have to really be careful on who we choose and pick wisely. And then also I'm considering moving some money from our draft budget, because it's projected that we only need about $6 million. So I kind of want to shift a few things, maybe take a little bit away from that $10 million budget that I given myself and shift it to the player development budget. I think we have to keep that budget high, especially if we're going to start drafting in these late picks in these rounds. We really got to spend the money to develop these lower end 1st-round prospects, to really keep feeding our system. We can only pay so many of these prospects that we have now, before our money runs out. So we got to keep feeding the beast and get some of these guys playing in the major leagues for the major league minimum. So I would love to continue to feed the beast and keep our farm system in that top 10 to top 7, even when we're drafting in these low picks or these late picks. So it's going to be an interesting time, especially if we keep playing winning baseball. So now is when the real challenge sets in. How can you maintain your competitiveness while drafting later and later in the draft? So we will see, but now it is time to get spring training underway. And just to show you guys kind of how I I do things here. I always go with a 6-man rotation in spring training just to give an extra guy a chance to start and see what he's got. I'm also going to do something a little different this year. I'm going to put them all on a pitch count. There's just it's not even really a pitch count. Like, I don't see any reason why a pitcher should go over 95 pitches in spring training, but I'm going to ensure that. I don't know if that's an issue. I just was sitting here just thinking, like, it's spring training, like, how can I try to approach this to keep my pitchers as safe as possible? There's one reason, or one way of doing that is a 6-man rotation that gives them less, starts, but at the same time gives more people or more players a chance to start. And then I'm like, why don't I just put them on a pitch count, because you shouldn't be pitching over 95. I mean, you could argue you shouldn't pitch over 80 in spring training. So I'm probably going to adjust this. I'll go 90. We'll just go everybody 90. Whether this is right or wrong, I don't know. But I guess it's however you want to do this, right? So I'll go 90 for spring training, and then once the major league season hits, I'll get rid of that. And then just, a bunch of middle relief guys, some setup guys, specialists here and there, and then just kind of seeing where everybody fits, but just getting everybody as many pitching opportunities as possible. For lineups, I did the same thing. I get everybody as many opportunities as possible. So every third game, the backups come in, and every fifth game, the backups come in. So I just give everybody as many opportunities as possible. And then that obviously gives them exposure to the major league pitching level for the most part. And then that also keeps the starters fresh and at a lower risk for injury, I think, just because they obviously don't play as much. So that's how we set up our spring training roster. I'm sure there's a million ways to do it, but just kind of to go over it, Danny Fouts will be our leadoff guy. I didn't really change the lineups too much, or really at all. I just kind of left them where they were, because there's going to be so much swapping in and out. There's no point. But I did want Danny Fouts leading off, just because. But yeah, let's get spring training underway, guys. And we did get spring training underway, and we won the game. Our rookie Josh Leeson got the W. Let's just take a look at how he pitched. Leeson pitched 4 innings, gave up 1 hit, 6 Ks, and 1 walk in 50 pitches. Love that. The rest of the pitchers pitched well. No one gave up any runs. We won the game 8-0. Hitting wise, Danny Fouts went 1 for 1 with 2 runs. He got a walk as well. Obviously, a ton of subs and things like that. Cardenas, our stud, Juan Cardenas. We now have 2 on the team, at least for the spring training at least. But he went 2 for 2, and it looks like he hit a double and a single. And then Bodine hit a home run, our backup catcher. So good start to the spring. But now, most importantly, let's look at the development lab results. I will skip through these guys. This is all the minor league contracts I've offered. All right. All right, so first and foremost, Juan Cardenas program was successful. So it looks like he has far less injury proneness in the future. So that is very good news for us. We love that. We will see if that changes when we fast forward it to tomorrow or maybe next month. I don't know. But we love the fact that his injury proneness has gone in our favor. Next is Jeff Middleton. No improvement on his injury proneness. We put him through a strength and conditioning program, so no improvement there. Josh Leeson was successful. His sinker will be more effective for him going forward. That is great news. That pitch right there was the issue. So he also looks like he unlocked a little bit more potential in his stuff. So that is very good news. His profile has gotten better, and I absolutely loved that. He's also a full-blown 4 stars right now. Yes, his stuff potential did go up, and it looks like his sinker has gotten better, so hopefully we'll see that tick up a little bit. And very good to have his program successful. Next is Artem Alvarado, also successful. Looks like he has a more refined arsenal, it says now, and his strikeouts will begin to add up. Didn't say specifically what we like that he has gotten better at. It looks like that changeup maybe has improved. It just says that his stuff rating improved, or his potential. But nonetheless, 2 successful programs. We like that. That slider was not that earlier, so that is definitely improved. So we have begun to like him as well. As fastball is really turning out to be a pretty good prospect for a 7th rounder. How he's just a 3-star prospect, I don't know. Maybe it's because of his control, but really happy with that. Next is Danny Fouts. He had a poor result. It looks like that is not good, and it says that he is swinging at more pitches outside of the zone. Not good. It only resulted in reducing his launch angle, affecting his home run power, which he didn't really have any anyways. So hopefully that doesn't have a huge issue. His potential contact dropped from 80 to 75. So unfortunate result for us there, but still a outstanding prospect. 75 is still pretty ridiculous. Looks like he kept his home run power at 35, so not terrible. Wish we could have gotten more, but obviously wasn't in the cards. Next was Alfredo Gazar. He had no improvement. Arturo Avalos, also no improvement. And Alvaro Vega, no improvement. So 3 successful ones, 1 poor one, and the rest no improvement. So overall, a pretty good lab, and we are excited about the results, and hopefully they are proved to pay dividends for us now that Juan Cardenas has a lower injury proneness. I think we can start him in the field. We will see, though. And we've simmed it ahead a little bit, but it is a big day for the Mobile Bay Bear organization. Josh Leeson and Danny Fouts have both signed their extension contracts. So huge deal for us, especially with Leeson coming off that successful program, getting even better. Danny Fouts unfortunately had the poor program, but still a ridiculous prospect. They have both signed their contracts. We'll take a look at them real quick. Josh Leeson's contract next year will pay him $5 million, and then in 2034 $11 million, and then 35 and 36 will be $13 million, and then 37, 38, and 2039 will be $15 million, with that last year 2039 as an option, and then his very last year of the contract in 2040 will go back down to $13 million. Both of those years have a 10% buyout. So as you can see, that is an absolutely ridiculous contract for what potentially could be one of the best pitchers in the league with that profile. $15 million at most for a pitcher, a starting pitcher, is a phenomenal contract. And I wish I could have signed him for longer. I didn't, but it is what it is. I'm not mad about this contract. To have him until 2040, I think he is going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with in the rotation, especially once that thing gets to there. He's going to dominate the league, I think. But I could be wrong. We'll see. Danny Fouts' contract, a little bit more lucrative. We will pay him $4 million next year, then $6 million. And then it'll bump up, it'll more than double to $13 million, and then $14 million for 4 straight years. And then the highest year he will get paid is in 2040 at $18 million. And then, of course, in 2041 and 2042, we went ahead and gave him $16 million with team options. So another fantastic contract. I mean, $18 million at most for 1 year, and then the rest of them are 14 or 16 million and below for a guy that's the number 1 overall prospect in baseball with this type of profile that's going to hit 300 and probably steal 30 or 40 bases and get on base like a 400 on base percentage, and going to play decent defense. That's a bargain. That's a bargain. So I think we're in great shape. We also got a good fan boost, apparently. I haven't checked that yet. We were at 59 before those 2 contracts. We're still at 59. So maybe that'll change the next day. If it does, I'll let you guys know. But we'll keep simming. We are 2-0 to start the spring. And it is March 17th, and we are 11-3 this spring. So that's the good news. But I do have some pretty unfortunate news, and that is we just lost the big guy, Josh Leeson, torn labrum. He will miss the season. So in true my luck fashion, I signed a stud, and he immediately tears a labrum for 6. He's out for the whole year pretty much. And then I am very certain that next year he'll be fragile. And so this might be something that we have to deal with for his contract. As you can see, he's had some issues, but nothing more than a couple weeks. Back issues, foot issue, but like just a couple of days here and there, and then one that was like 4 weeks for an elbow. But now he has torn his labrum and will unfortunately be out for the rest of the year. And then in 2033 will hopefully pitch, but it will have that injury proneness as fragile, I am most certain. And hopefully he doesn't stack up injuries forever throughout his career, because we have quite a few years left. So that's just my luck. Hopefully that's the only injury we deal with. It is right now so far, knock on wood. But definitely a tough blow for this team. And now we might be searching for that 5th starter. So we will be searching for a 5th starter. So we have to figure out who that's going to be. And with that, we have completed spring training. We finished the spring 17-8. We also had 5 ties. I have whittled the roster down to 29 players. I still need to cut 3 more. I will do so in between episodes. I have finalized the pitching staff. Now I need to go through and finalize the 13 players we're going to bring with us on the offensive side, and finalize some budget things. And then I'm also going to kind of go back through free agency and see if there's another pitcher out there. I'm not trying to replace Leeson in the rotation. I think I have done that, but at the same time, I would like a potential option as someone else, but we'll just go through. I'll do that offline and see it, and I'll let you guys know if I see anything that catches my eye. We'll look right here on the waiver wire. Nope, he's a no good. Only a 2-pitch pitcher, although I do like his profile. 3 pitches, 2-ish, 2.5, but he's making $7.5 million, so definitely not something out there for that. There's some guys on the trading block. J.R. Ritchie, not a great profile for making $10 million. A really good profile. He is making $14 million this year. We just don't have the $14 million. I could go see what they want for him. I'll do that offline. But I'm just trying to, as best I can, fill in that void. But it's going to be kind of hard with a top prospect in baseball. Another guy here making $15 million. Don't really love that profile. And his stamina wasn't great. So I'll do these things offline and let you guys know. And then in the next episode, we will meet the 2032 Mobile Bay Bears. We are excited about this club. Offensively, we should be very sound, and then I think pitching will be sound as well. Not as sound as I thought we were going to be. Obviously, with the top pitching prospect in baseball going down. But nonetheless, we have a good farm system, and we have some good guys in the bullpen that can fill that role, hopefully. And we will look to do that in the next episode. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in the next episode. Have a good one.